Hi friends, not sure who's here for yoga, but I hope you're having a happy Monday because it is Monday. Crazy enough, we'll give people a few minutes to come on and hopefully somebody wants to join the live feed today. If not, it will be here for you when you're ready. Sweet, I'll be right back. Yay, hello, who's over there? It is almost noon. Oh, it is noon. So we'll start. Grab your mats if you don't have them. We don't need any props or anything. We will just be super mellow today per usual. So welcome. I hope you're having a nice day and enjoying some sunshine or be able to focus on something that uplifts you and makes you feel good. And even if you're here just to watch and maybe not practice because yoga is not your thing, well, I hope you enjoy the energy that we get to share through this wild interweb of life. Yay, so if you do have your yoga mat, just grab a seat. And just get settled. Again, as our world continues to change every day, it's a lot. It's a lot to digest and to process. And so even if you give yourself the gift of just a few minutes to connect to really what is present here, right here and right now, and also remember to be gentle with yourselves, because even though we are all in this together as we experience the changes and new normals of this COVID-19 virus, we also still all have our other stuff, the relationship problems or the broken hearts or trying to raise children or figuring out if we're going to go back to school in the fall. There's so many other life things that didn't go away. So just honor wherever you're at and remember more so now than ever to really just practice kindness and compassion towards yourself and towards others. And today, I actually read this in my yoga class on Friday. I'm teaching 2 online classes for Yoga Oceanside. One is Wednesday morning. It's a dynamic flow. So we're moving with some vinyasa style breaths. So if you want that, I think the classes are $10. You can sign up there. And then I'm also teaching Fridays at noon through Yoga Oceanside. It's like a slow hatha flow. So a little more movement again than we're doing here. But I just want to make these classes super accessible and super really user-friendly to anyone that may be a lifelong practitioner, also to someone that might be new to yoga and is just excited to get on the mat and be able to connect with people in a new way, and yourself, of course. So like I said, I read this on Friday, and I too have been working through my own things. There have been tons of tears that have nothing to do with quarantine, because realistically, I'm pretty good on my own. I can paint or play the ukulele or do cartwheels in the backyard. I do miss people, but I just really love this. It's like a Cherokee parable, and I think it's beautiful to hold near our hearts, not just in times of challenges, but all the time. So maybe if you want to hear it, I would suggest just shutting your eyes down and letting your awareness come within, and maybe just listening to these words and letting them process into your body. An old Cherokee is teaching his grandson about life. "A fight is going on inside me," he said to the boy. "It is a terrible fight, and it is between 2 wolves. One is evil. He is anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego." He continued, "The other is good. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. The same fight is going on inside of you and inside every other person too. The grandson thought about it for a minute, and then he asked his grandfather, which wolf will win? The old Cherokee simply replied, the one you feed. So in times of challenge and also in times of just happiness, I think it is beautiful to remember to feed these qualities of kindness, of empathy, of generosity, of truth. And when we come to our mats to connect with our breath and to plant seeds that we want to grow in our lives, we are really doing that with such powerful intention that we begin to not only think about these things, but become them and inspire others so very much to do the same. So today, let's just shut down our eyes, if they're not already shut down, and let go of everything outside of you, outside of your skin, this morning, this afternoon, tomorrow. Let all that stay exactly where it is and become present with your own body, with right here and right now. Your legs and your feet and your sit bones root you gently into the earth, provide you stability and strength. And your spine holds your body upright, your abdomen is soft. Your fingertips and hands maybe gently rest on your knees or in your lap. Your crown floats towards the sky. The breath deepens as it begins to draw through the nose. And you feel the sensations of your body expanding through the belly as the diaphragm drops down and you expand through your abdomen. And as you release, you feel the belly contract. Your navel draws towards your spine. Your shoulders soften away from the ears. Again, as breath draws in, what do you experience? Do you lighten through the chest? Do your lungs inflate and float away from the midline? Does your crown lift towards the sky? And as you breathe out, do you feel a release? Do you feel an emptying, a softening? Just staying with these gentle oscillations of breath for a few more rounds, letting your awareness sweetly rest in your body and the feelings you experience when you inflate and deflate with such a mindful intention of presence and awareness. Lift your hands to your heart center. And again, begin to draw your mind to these wolves. And maybe in your life, you have been feeding that first wolf. And this practice is going to give you an opportunity to shift your focus to the wolf that is hungry for love and compassion, for empathy and kindness. And begin to gently set all these words and thoughts and feelings in your heart. Just let them rest there. And with every pump of your heart, let this joy and love and compassion begin to leave the heart and course through your veins. As your heart pumps these things into every tiny corner of your body. If you'd like to join me, we will chant Om and send this intention out to the greatest and highest good for all. Breathing in through your nose. Taking one brief moment to bow your chin to your chest, to remember to honor yourself as we go through these poses, that I am simply suggesting everything I say. Honor your body and do what feels right for you at any time throughout this class. Releasing your hands to your lap, inhaling into a neutral spine, and we'll just come straight into child's pose today. So we'll take the knees wide. The toes can come towards one another. Sink your hips back towards your heels, and then gently paw your arms away from you. Letting your spine run long, really beginning to imagine creating space in this practice through our body. So long lines of energy from pinky fingers down to those hips, creating an opening through the side body. The heart moves towards the ground, and ultimately the face rests on the mat. There's an opening between your hips, and just begin to sink into this space of feeling supported by the earth below you. And again, come back to those breaths that maybe now enter as you inhale, kind of like an elevator coming from the ground below you, and just lift up through the palms and through the shins. And lighten your body from the ground up like a gentle fountain. And as you exhale, again, imagine this energy as a palpable thing, as an actual tangible substance. And as you release your exhales, let your body soften through the shoulder blades, all down your spine, maybe even the tops of your feet soften. And as you breathe, you continue to cultivate feelings of joy, of peace, of love. Opening deeper in those side bodies. Walk your hands off to the left side of your mat. Again, creating space, not crunching, but lengthening through the side bodies. Right hand comes on top of left, and again, your body softens to the ground. If that right elbow is lifted, maybe draw it down towards the earth and see how that feels through the back and the shoulders. Now gazing up at the fingertips, let your hands come through center, bringing them again off to the right side. Lengthening from sit bones to fingertips, and then softening towards the earth. Again, if that left elbow is lifted, see if it feels good to bring it towards the earth, and then soften around the tension you're feeling. Gently walk your hands through center. Lift up into tabletop. And then come right down onto your belly. We'll do some belly down back bends just to warm ourselves up. So you can just bring your hands right on the ground in front of you, almost like a pillow. Let your feet go long, and we'll just start with the legs here. Inhale, lift the legs, finding length from your toes. Letting your head maybe stay pressed into those hands. And then exhale, just release the legs. And invite a softness through your glutes, your hamstrings. And again, head pressed into the hands. Inhale, lift the legs. If the glutes are clenched, unclench your glutes. Really invite an awareness to how you're using your body parts. And then exhale and soften the legs down to the ground. One more time. Inhale, lift the legs, reaching long with the toes. And then hold here for a few breaths. Softening through the back, softening through the glutes, softening through the toes, staying with the breath, letting the inhales reach and lengthen. Holding here, the exhales soften. And then allow the legs to come back to the earth. Now bringing your arms down by your sides, palms are up. We'll wake up the top part of our body, so let your pelvis push into the ground. Let the tops of your feet firmly root into the ground. And on your inhale, just gently lift your chest, lift your chin, fingers draw back towards those toes. Core is engaged, and then on the exhale, soften towards the ground. Let the head rest on the earth. Inhale again, lifting up here, shoulder blades draw back, finding length through that spine as you lift. Staying with your breath and then softening the glutes, softening the shoulders, softening the fingertips as you hold. One more time, exhale. Release your body long towards the ground. One more time, inhale, lift on up. Maybe a little bit higher this time. Let your navel draw towards your spine. Let your abdomen stay engaged. Let your heart and face feel light. Let your breaths continue to enter with smooth oscillations, and then soften yourself to the ground. Coming into baby cobra, now take your hands, put them right next to your chest below your shoulder blades. Elbows draw back towards the sky, feet are still pushing into the ground. Now we're using the strength of our arms. Inhale, engage the core and just meet yourself a little further up. Lengthening through the lower back. Imagine not crunching, but lengthening, like you're energetically pulling your body forward. And then exhale, come back to the ground. Engage the core, take the knees a little bit wider. Lift on up, round out the back, and one more time, sink back into child's pose. Engage the core as you lift on up into a tabletop. And find your stable table. Radiate the fingers wide like a sunshine. Check in with your toes. Are they coming straight back from your knees? Is your spine long? And pause here. Be with the pause. And see if you can stay in this space of not doing but being, and continue to breathe in humility, truth, compassion, and faith. Sunbird flow is next. So inhale, right arm, left leg long. Exhale, bring the elbow and the knee towards one another, round out the back, hang the head. Inhale as you lengthen. And exhale again. Bring all body parts back to the earth. Again, left side lifts on the arm, right side on the leg. Pelvis is flat, reaching toes to fingertips, long line of energy. Exhale, elbow comes to the knee, squeeze through the center. Inhale, we lengthen, and exhale, release. Moving with this flow to your own breath, closing down the eyes if it feels good. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, contract. Inhale, lift and stretch, and exhale, just soften again, feeling the support of the earth. Closing down your eyes, just trusting in the wisdom of your body to guide you and the breath to keep you anchored. Close your eyes and find this flow with your own breath. Linking breath to movement, letting body, mind, and spirit be connected as you continue to cultivate thoughts of kindness, of truth, of hope. Finish the side that you're on, and then do one more round to each side. We'll all meet one another again in stable table. A low lunge is next, so if you'd like to lift up into a downward dog, you can tuck all those toes, drop that pelvis, lift the hips towards the sky, and walk into your dog. If this is not something in your practice or something you feel comfortable doing, you can just stay in the tabletop and maybe wiggle out your spine and find a comfortable firmness. Otherwise, lift up into downward dog and just walk out the dog. Wiggle around your ankles, let your face move towards the ground, hollow out the armpits. Again, always working with length, so bending the knees as much as you can to see how it feels to stretch those hips towards the sky. Let the head hang, let your spine be long. If you're on your knees, lift the right leg out, keeping the pelvis flat. If you're in downward dog, lift the right leg high, coming into a three-legged dog. And wherever you are, we'll just step the right leg between our feet. We'll drop the back knee down, stopping in a low lunge for a breath. Left hand plants, right arm lifts up into a spinal twist. Just letting the spine ring out. As the pelvis moves towards the ground, the spine twists towards that bent knee. Exhale, hands come to frame the foot. Inhale, gently float up into a low lunge. Soften the shoulders. Let the hands just come behind the head. Let the head gently push into the hands. The heart shines, opening your chest. Releasing the hands now behind your back. Fingertips find one another. Your heart lifts, your fingers drop. More heart openers. Hips move towards the ground. Release your arms, gently inhale, gaze comes up, maybe a baby back bend. Exhale, hands frame the foot. You can untuck that back toe, lift up into a plank if you'd like, or you can come right back here. Oh, we're getting fancy today in slow flow. If you want to do a chaturanga, you can, or just stay in that tabletop, and we'll all come back to downward dog or to tabletop. And just take a breath here too, feeling the support of all four limbs on the ground. Coming back to your breath if your mind has wandered, coming back to these intentions that we're trying to cultivate through our yoga practice. Reminding yourself that a yoga practice has much to do with your breath and your intentions as it does to do with the advancement of these poses. So inhale the right leg up wherever you are, keeping those hips flat. And then, oh, just kidding. Inhale the left leg, other leg up. Good thing we only have two sides. And then step that foot between your hands. Drop the back knee. Make sure the ankle is in front of the knee. We don't want to do this. We really want to protect our joints. Let your heart shine long. Right hand plants, left hand lifts into the twist as your chest moves towards the extended legs, your hips drop down and that spine rings out. Maybe the gaze comes up to the fingertips. Come back to your breath. Inhales, lengthen, and exhales, soften. Release the hand down to frame the foot. Get strong through your core and then lift and lighten. The arms towards the sky. Maybe gaze comes up to meet the arms. Again, the hands can come behind your head. Let your head push into your hands. Elbows open. Heart opens. Release the palms externally. Move your hands away from one another. Fingertips clasp behind your booty. Heart shines. Shoulders drop, release through your body consciously as the hands stay engaged. Let your heart soften. Let your glutes soften. Let the gaze lift. Breathing in joy, releasing out. Breathing out fear. Knowing there's no goals in these poses but to stay present. Releasing the hands, inhaling again, lifting and lightening. And exhale, hands frame the foot. One more time, you can step back to a plank, or you can just come again and feel the support of your table. If you want another chaturanga, find one of those. Lift up into one more downward dog if you're up there. If you're on your knees, just find your way to your feet. Either way, we'll meet in Uttanasana, which is a forward fold. However you get there, once you get in that fold, just pause and let the head hang. And then slowly, one vertebrae at a time, wind your way on up into Tadasana. Hello, my loves. You can play with your hair too if you want. But once you get into Tadasana, lift the toes, lift the arches, gently engage your quads. Play with your pelvis here. Really examine your posture and how you stand. So tilt that pelvis forward like it's a sweet little bowl of water and you're pouring all the water out. And then whoop, save that water. And find a neutral pelvis. Let your navel gently draw towards that spine. And just keep stacking the shoulders above the hips, your ears above those shoulders. Palms face forward. And we'll work again, just moving our bodies a little bit more. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Let the gaze come up to the fingertips. Exhale, forward fold, leaning forward, hinging from the hips. Releasing into a forward fold. On the inhale, straighten your back. Engage the back of the body. Let the hands come to the shins. Almost like you're in an upside down L. Exhale, release your body. Soften again into that forward fold. And on the inhale, bend your knees, arms come wide, palms come up, and hands stop through heart center. Let's do 3 more of those. Maybe close down your eyes, bend the knees, inhale, lift, and lengthen through those side bodies. Exhale, forward fold, releasing yourself towards the ground below you. On your inhale, find a flat back, engage the hamstrings. Exhale, soften and release. Inhale, bend those knees, lift and scoop up and lengthen and bring all that love from Mother Earth right back into your heart. 2 more, moving with your own breath. We'll meet in Tadasana. From Tadasana, we'll just step our feet wide. We're going to have a sweet little seat into Devyasana, which is goddess pose. So let your toes go wide, the heels come in. Again, that pelvis is not tilted forward, whoop, but protecting all that beautiful bowl of water. Knees are tracking back. You want to be able to see your toes. And then slowly just sit. Maybe your goddess is here, maybe you're like way down here. Find that space where you can balance effort and ease. And you can just step outside of your mat. You don't need to turn your body on your mat. And then when you're ready, just inhale those arms out. Thumb and finger can come together. Palms can be open, receiving, grounding, you choose. And then we'll work with a gentle flow here. So on the inhales, scoop up, gaze comes up, legs straighten. Exhales, just soften and release energetically things into the earth that you don't need. Inhales, fill your body with breath as you lift and lengthen, and exhales again, letting go. On the inhale, we nourish our body with life force, with love. And on the exhale, we cleanse ourselves of fear, of greed. Maybe closing down your eyes if that feels good for the balance challenge. Tuning into, again, the wisdom of your body and the power of your breath, a place of calm when these two things join one another, linking breath to movement. And then on the next one, just have a seat again. Drop the shoulders, soften the face, open the knees, and just sit in goddess pose for a few more breaths. Bring the hands to the shins, bring the quads, bring the toes forward. Heel toe yourself to a slightly closer stance, not completely, in Tadasana. And then again, opening the hips a little bit deeper, we'll work our way into a seated squat. So if it feels good for you just to pause right here, if that's super intense, just stop right there. You can let your hands come to the ground to support yourself, always moving the booty forward, the knees back. Or if it feels good and safe for your body, you can sit all the way down into a squat. Let the knees come back, hands come to heart. Breathing here for a breath or two. Softening through those exhales. And then bring the hands to the grounds in front of you. Bring the knees to the ground. And come on up onto your knees. Ustrasana or camel pose is next. It's such a wonderful heart opener. It can be scary to open your heart in that way because we are so vulnerable when we open our hearts. But I found in my life, these vulnerable, scary places is where we go. So if you know full camel pose is a good pose for you, go into it. I don't have a block, which I usually like to teach with. I'll have to get one of those, but we'll just start again with that same line of energy we like in Tadasana, hips above knees, shoulders above hips, and just bring your hands to your lower back. Let your fingers point down, thumbs point out, and begin to bring those elbows back. Feeling a familiar movement we did in the low lunge. Letting your heart open, really creating space in your chest cavity. And maybe letting your awareness come to your heart and feeling it gently release inside of your chest cavity as it opens and there is more space around your heart to physically beat freely. If this feels good for you, like a challenge enough, stay right here. Or we can deepen into this pose with our inhale and lift our chin. Now as we come back deeper into Ustrasana, we want to make sure we're not pushing our hips forward. We still want our back to maintain its integrity. So as your lower back pushes into your hands also push into the lower back. Now if you want to, bring those hands down towards the heels or the ground, really opening the heart, opening the throat space, lifting and lengthening through the spine. You can let your head hang and find some softness here. Wherever you're at, greet yourself with compassion, with love, staying with your breath. To come out of this pose, move those hands to your lower back, engage your core to protect that back, and gently lift yourself up into a neutral spine. Release the arms to your side and come on down and have a seat. Let your legs come right out in front of you. Moving in the opposite direction of that flexion in your spine. We'll just gently invite some extension now through the low back. So inhale the arms wide and exhale. Just let the fingers come forward and let them rest on your legs. First, maybe moving the fleshy parts of your booty away. Walking those hands down the shins or the thighs, letting your spine be long, letting your heart again continue to move forward. And then continuing, walking those hands maybe with working breaths. The inhales lengthen and exhales begin to fold into yourself. Staying with that breath. Reminding yourself that a yoga practice is a practice of breath, of harnessing our prana, which is our life force, and using it to its maximum capacity by finding a balance between effort and ease. Not too much forcing, but also being active enough to use that force with purpose. Softening into forward fold, Janu Shashasana. Engaging your core, using the strength of your hands to come back into that neutral spine, taking a bend in your knees. Supta Rajakapotasana, reclined pigeon pose is next. So roll onto your back with the knees bent. Inhale the right foot towards the sky. Just wiggle out your toes, your ankles, and then bring that right ankle above the left knee. Now if you feel this intensely in your hips already, just stop right here and breathe into the tension. If you like deeper, you can lift those left toes off the ground, bringing the left knee towards your face and releasing this foot. If you find this foot up here, oof, let it go, let go of that tension. Weave your hands between your legs, grasp the back of your thigh, and then gently guide that knee closer to your face, being aware if the left hip has scooched up. Whoop. Again, working with length, always through those side bodies as you release the deep right hip, softening the grip of your legs and using the strength of your arms here to control this position. Gently releasing the legs. Left foot comes to the ground, right toes come back to the earth, or up to the sky. Left toes come up to the sky, and just shake your legs out. And then gently take a bend in that right foot. Wiggle around the left toes, the left ankles. Left ankle comes above the right knee. Realign that spine. And again, listen to your body and see what it's asking for. Stay here or lift the toes. Release the tension in that foot. And gather the knee towards the body and soften everything that you don't actively need to open the backside of the left hip. And again, come back to your intention. Breathing into the wolf of love, of joy, of compassion. Feeding it all the fuel it needs to help you embody these qualities on and off your mat. Release the leg. Bring both feet to the ground and then grab your knees into your chest and just give yourself one sweet hug, bringing the knees up to the chest, gripping your body tight. And then releasing the arms wide into a cactus, dropping the knees over to a left, finding one final spinal twist here. Left hand can come above the right knee, and everything else you can invite to soften. Engage your core, lift your knees through center, and drop them off to the right side. Once again, softening into the ground, softening into yourself, and letting the breath navigate its way through your body. And invite in a release. Engaging your core, lifting your knees up through center, and then releasing everything to the ground. It's time for Shavasana. So this is corpse pose. This is our pose where we receive, where we really enter into a nurturing space of expansion and of stillness. And coming into Shavasana, we invite a body scan. starting with your toes and your feet, the tops and the bottoms, and letting a warm, gooey love surround the bottoms and tops of your feet. Let it engulf your ankles, your calves and your knees, and let it soften the muscles away from the bones. As this warm, tender, pink or green gooey love slowly crawls through your quads and your hamstrings and your pelvis and your abdomen, it invites a sense of peace and serenity all around you and releases your body. This warm love comes and gently hugs your heart, nourishes your lungs, your chest and your spine and your whole back body. It brings you joy and compassion and then releases the tension of your form. It makes its way through your shoulder blades and your forearms, down around your fingertips, and invites a softness through your body. The joy, the compassion, the empathy, the generosity gently consume your throat. They lather your face. They release your ears and your brain and your crown. And you are held in this space of complete, pure love. And here you can rest in connection with the infinite expanse of all that you are. And you are at peace. If something comes, just return to the word of love or the anahata, which is your heart. And you have nowhere to go and nothing to do. You are safe. When it is time for you to return, I will come for you. An old Cherokee is teaching his grandson about life. A fight is going on inside me, he said to the boy. It is a terrible fight, and it is between two wolves. One is evil. He is anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. He continued, the other is good. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. The same fight is going on inside you and every other person too. The grandson thought about it for a minute, and then he asked his grandfather, which wolf will win? The old Cherokee simply replied, the one you feed. Let your breath deepen and let your body wake back up as your awareness moves into gentle oscillations and wiggles of your fingers and your toes. Invite your head to move left to right and take a bend in your knees and find your way into seedling pose on the right or left side and rest here, remembering that seedling pose represents new growth and rebirth, and how you choose to live and bloom in this world is completely up to you. Keeping your eyes closed or gently open, lift yourself to a comfortable seated position, finding a neutral spine, and invite your hands to greet one another at your heart center, where the palms gently press into one another, and these ideas and thoughts and feelings of love and compassion and empathy and joy and kindness begin to sink into your heart space, and with every beat of your heart begin to pulse vibrantly into every fiber of your being. If you'd like to join me with Om, we will send this intention out to the greatest and highest good for all and seal our practice there. Breathing in through your nose. The light in me loves, sees, and honors the beautiful light in each and every one of you. I thank you so much for sharing your time and your practice with me today. Namaste. Happy Monday, my sweet, sweet loves. It is an honor and a pleasure and a joy to get to connect and share these practices with you. Again, we'll be here on Wednesday at noon on Facebook Live. Yoga Oceanside, the studio I teach at, is also offering some live classes. 9:30 a.m. is a dynamic flow, so lots of moving and breathing. And Fridays at noon is a slow hatha flow, so similar to what we're doing, but a little more engaging. And you can sign up for those classes on their website. So I love you all. Have a wonderful day. And I look forward to sharing this with you on Wednesday.